Hey guys, this is Justin from the Unscripted Dad Life podcast. We're excited for you guys to listen to the podcast. Just a heads up, the first few episodes, the sound quality leaves something to be desired, but I can assure you that it does get progressively better. That being said, enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back. I'm joined again by John and Justin for another show. Thank you all for joining us, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, sitting in your car, listening on your iPad, listening on your computer, on your phone, doesn't matter. We appreciate you joining us. So what I want to start with, we're going to try to stay on topic. I don't know if it's possible just because I don't think any three of us are, ooh, squirrel. So let's give this a shot. I think we should start the show today with, let's take you back. When you guys found out you were going to be a dad. Who would like to start? John, you want to give that a shot? I know you've got 3 times.
I've got 3, yeah. So
you pick one, pick all 3. Let's do
it. Obviously, the first was the most, I would say, emotional for sure. Because, it went from me and my wife to all of a sudden we're going to be, you're a family when it's just you and your loved one, but it doesn't really feel like a family until you the namesake of it it feels like it's mislabeled. Like I'm just in a relationship. I have a wife and they're my family and she's my family, but it didn't feel like I actually had a family until we learned about, our oldest. So I would say I remember going, we planned all 3 of them. And so we were excited about it. But I think the part that really sticks out the most to me is when we went to the ultrasound to find out if we were having a boy or a girl. And up to that point, I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm fine if they're a boy or a girl. Totally cool. With whatever. And seriously, when the lady was like, all right, here we go. At that point, I was like, oh God, please be a boy, please be a boy, please be a boy.
Exact same thing.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I think there was just something inside that, made me as a man want to have a son. And so that's how it went.
You wanted your soccer team.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then for my middle, we had a boy already. He was going on 2. And so we went there and I was like, well, there's a couple of things. Logically, I just want another boy. Hand-me-downs will be cheaper. We weren't making, money at the time. And so making bank at the time. So I was like, you know what? I already know, I want a boy and we're going to have a boy because I said we're having a boy. And then boom, having a boy. And so we were really excited about that. I kept thinking of, seeing 2 little boys running around and we were going to be wrestling around all day. And it was just going to be a grand old time. And then my most recent venture, which was 11 months ago, actually, my wife wanted a girl because we have the boys and she just really, wanted her little princess. I decided that we weren't having a girl and we were just going to have another boy. I was like, I already know. I've already got the name picked out. It doesn't even matter. Listen, I know you want this a lot, but it's just not going to happen. Sorry. But we ended up doing this is the first one where we did a gender reveal. And it was Harry Potter themed with potions and wands. My wife loves Harry Potter.
Nice.
And brother-in-law ended up recording it. My sister-in-law is the one who set everything up. And then boom, ended up, having, revealing that we were having a girl. And my wife is just tears all over the place. She was just so happy. I was too, obviously. Admittedly, though, a little scared because now, at this point, I've been a parent for 10 or 11 years, but I've never been a parent to a girl. And so now I'm just oh God, this is new. I'm very much a creature of habit. So anything out of the norm, I'm just raging against the machine. I'm like, this can't happen. So I don't know what we're going to do here, but I need a lot of help. So
I'm so happy for your wife though, because now she gets an escape from all the boy shit.
That is true.
Oh, you might be right to a degree, but I don't know. There's so many things. She could grow up a tomboy. She could grow up a princess, but there's probably still going to be a whole lot of fart and ball jokes.
Oh, for sure. But following your wife on social media and she posts pictures of your daughter, it's a totally different vibe.
Oh,
To
for
me,
sure.
it's like, this one's mine.
yeah. Finally. No, she definitely goes that way. And she does look like her. She heard last time how I described how she looks like Liam, and therefore I think she'll play me. No, she took exception that she does look like my wife quite a bit. I saw baby pictures. Like, she whipped out baby pictures of herself. I was like, okay, I get it. She looks like you. My bad. You win. I apologize.
Well, yeah, you got through one episode and you're already proving wrong.
yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Justin, how about you? Do you remember anything about, I know it's a long time. We're over 40.
Yeah.
Stretch a little bit if you need to.
No, I remember the night that I found out that my wife was pregnant. We have different stories as far as whether or not we were trying. My recollection was we were not trying. She says otherwise. Maybe it was an informal try. I don't know. But no, I was out for like a happy hour turned guys' night out kind of thing with you and some other people from work. And I got home and she had done a test while I was out. And I remember it was like late. I went back in the closet, started stripping off my clothes to get ready for bed and all that. And she came in and
That is usually how it happens.
yeah, she was like, no, I'm not part of it.
Oh, okay.
You want to know what the concept is? This?
No.
And she held it out to me and said, look, and
Look at my pea stick.
I remember I was like, I got excited, but then I just like everything else, the dumbest thing came out. Is this good? Is this I don't? She's like, yeah,
I want to be happy.
God, this could have been a good moment, but it's you.
Am I listening to problem solving?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're happy about that. And then the same thing, like we said, the whole time I was like, I don't care about gender. It's just as long as it's healthy, that's fine. I just wanted, a happy, healthy baby. That's good. And then the day that we went to the doctor to go find out the gender, I had like this little epiphany that women go through a lot of shit, and I hate to have to watch my daughter go through all that. So in my head, I was like, easy way out, I'll have a boy. And found out it was a girl, and couldn't have been happier. She was like the best thing ever. She's so much cooler than everybody else is good. So
that is, you bring up a good point. I did have sort of an existential thought crisis about that. Like, I have a girl, like I've been raising the boys to be, advocates for equality and stuff like that. I mean, across the board, they obviously have it easier than my daughter is going to have it. And so now I'm just like, how do I attack that without, going from one extreme to the other? And it was I don't know, maybe y'all can relate. Did either of y'all at any point, as you're looking at your firstborn or your only whatever, you're like, I can't believe I brought a child into this, and then gesture to everything.
every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. So for us, it was a little different when my wife and I found out, because it was during COVID. But for her and I, we had some troubles. We had to go to some doctors and stuff, and they were always telling us, you'll never have one without help. So we had to go to, special doctors and do a lot of stuff, and it was going to cost a ton of money. Then COVID hit, and all the stress went away, and, she's working at home, not having to do anything. And so it helped it out. And then all of a sudden, I can't remember, what made her decide to take one. And for me, I feel terrible about this. Even to this day, 2.5 years later, she took one, and I just didn't believe it, because in my head, we've had 2 specialized doctors say it'll never happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I still feel bad, but we ended up taking I think I even went to the pharmacy and we got more. We took 6.
Oh, wow.
6 tests.
Right.
Yeah, little pea sticks.
Oh, okay.
We took a lot, because it's who knows, because I just didn't believe it, because I was going off the doctors.
Yeah, if you're constantly being told by medical professionals, hey, this is never going to happen, and then it happens, you're like, okay, what's happening here?
It took a while for it to hit me. Couldn't have been happier. And then it was even tougher, because again, we're in COVID. So every time she goes for ultrasounds, I'm not even allowed in
you're not even
building.
in there. Oh, man.
So I'm sitting in the parking lot in the car, or I'm at a job site where I'm allowed to actually go in and do my job, and she's off by herself. So it was really tough for her and I the entire time, and it sucked. I hated it so much, and it was so tough, and I feel terrible. I don't think I'll ever, forgive myself for not being there. No, it's not my fault. But to not be there for her, especially when, she first found out. And then for us, I remember I was at a job site in Irving, and she went to an ultrasound, and I get a call. And she's like, okay, so we have some news to tell you. They hear 2 heartbeats. And I'm like, well, that's fantastic. That means the baby's alive and you're alive. Like, I'm like, that's good. You should have 2 heartbeats. You're having a baby. Like, yeah, that's fantastic. And she's like, no, you don't understand. There's 2 heartbeats. I'm like, what do you mean I don't understand? You have a heartbeat. The baby has a heartbeat.
That is 2. I can count up that.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you should. And she's like, no, there's 2 heartbeats. You know, we're having twins. And it was just like, you know how your whole body just goes numb and you just get that tunnel vision, everything slows down.
Everything kind of goes black.
And it was, and it was the most amazing thing. And I'm like, I didn't know what to say, but I was so happy. And then it hit me like, I am not there to see it or hear the heartbeats.
Oh man, yeah.
So it was tough, but I was really happy and glad. And you touched on something about a gender reveal, so I want to kind of circle back on that here in a second. And then we found out we were having twins, and we're like, oh, that's fantastic. And we didn't want to know what we were having. And then there's another part for the names. We'll get into that second part. So we were, boy, girl. We just couldn't figure out, do we want 2 boys, 2 girls, boy and girl? And we were kind of leaning towards one of each. So that way we could just have, the 2 in case these were the only 2 we could ever have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found out we were going to have 2 boys, and, I couldn't be happier.
Did you find out in advance? Or?
We did. And the reason why is, one, because I could never be there. So I tried to be a part of it because it's tough. I don't know if you guys felt it because you were able to go to the ultrasounds, you were able to be there with your wife. For me, I never felt that connection because I was never there. Yeah, so to me, it never really hit or washed over me that, man, I created 2 kids until they were there and I was holding them. And that's when it hit me.
Gotcha.
Like, holy cow, for the first time I'm actually a part of this. And then that day, oh man, that was a rough day. We'll get into that way later. So to me, it was just like, I never felt connected. So I was really glad we had 2 boys. And that was basically our journey. It was tough. COVID sucked, but I'm glad we got through it. I do feel bad that, I just didn't believe it at first. But, what can I say? I proved the doctors wrong. So suck on that, doctor.
Absolutely.
Twice, actually.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's a pretty amazing story. It's not from one extreme to another. Like, you were told it's never going to happen to boom, guess what? You get double the joy.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
I never even thought about the part of the dad not being involved in that kind of stuff. I had to rush my wife to the hospital for an emergency gallbladder removal during COVID, and I had to sit out in the parking lot until 3 a.m. until she could send me a message to say, hey, you can't do anything, we'll find out in the morning. So I had to go home. That was hard.
Yeah.
But I can imagine not being part of all that.
Yeah.
All this scheduled stuff that you just can't be a part of. That would,
We did video calls, but it was like, okay, I can kind of hear something, but to me it was, when you're on your cell phone, you're in your car, your connection's not good, so it just sounded like it was the phone breaking up. So you're just like,
and you want to be positive, so you go,
you're like, oh, that's so awesome. And it was just, it was really tough. I do, if we're lucky enough to have a third, I can't wait to be there to experience it and maybe get that connection sooner. But I love my boys now, and it's just, there's a connection there. But I mean, it was a really tough road. And then, the delivery day was even harder because she had complications after. So even when the boys were there, we did have them for, the first 10 minutes, and then it was time to go to the suite. So it was a C-section, so we knew we were going to be there for 5 days. But there were problems afterwards so the boys were born by 8:01 in the morning. We had both kids.
Okay.
We didn't get to hold them until 7 p.m. Yeah. They were taken from us by 8:30, and that was the last time we saw them for the next 12 hours.
Were you getting information, or was
it? It was very spotty information about what was going on with my wife. I was really scared and freaked out. And of course, I have a weak stomach, so the doctor's coming in and telling me all this nasty, gory stuff, and I'm trying not to pass out because it's gross. But I wanted to know what was going on with my wife, so it was really tough. I'm glad we pulled through. It could have been a lot worse. And then it hit me too that it's like, man, now I'm looking at it like even the parents, when the boys were born, no family could come to the hospital. Yeah. It was just my wife and I. They did have a rule where if we had somebody come in, I had to leave the room. But if I left the hospital, I had to be gone for 24 hours before I could come back. So it was just, we had everybody here at the house, not more than 10 because that was illegal then.
You're right, yeah.
Totally never happened. Had everybody here when we did get home, and It was nice, but it was a really rough time. I'm really blessed that we have the two.
So you seem to be handling that well, but I know that there are other people who probably went through something similar.
Mm-hmm.
What, being that you're the only one out of the three of us who went through something like that, what would you say to somebody who may be feeling guilt about not being there?
Honestly, I tried to keep it in, and here we are 2.5 years later, and I still have the regret, but find somebody to talk to. Even right now, it's only been, 8 minutes since I started telling, 8 minutes since I started telling you guys. And I already feel a little bit better, a little weight lifted off, but definitely confide in your significant other. If you're a mom listening, or if you're a dad, a grandpa, whatever, find somebody that you trust, talk to them about it, and don't hold it in, because I did that, and, it's a struggle. I still have regrets. My wife is going to listen to this and be like, you didn't tell me. So it's
I'll actually take that a step further and say to see a therapist. I've been seeing a therapist for years, and they've helped me a ton. And I would say that one thing, again, I didn't go through this, you did, but the one thing that a lot of therapists will say is to be in the moment. So you can't change that. You control you can control what you can control, but what you can't, just allow that to go through and just be in the moment where you are now. You weren't able to do, have the connection like you wanted then, but you've obviously got one now, and just enjoy that and make what you can of it.
Yeah. That actually brings me to a good point. I'm curious, anybody listening, tell us your stories. Check us out on Patreon. Find us wherever. Send us a message. Tell us your stories. Let's connect with us. Let's hear what you've got. If you're okay with us sharing it, maybe we'll bring it up on the next show. But yeah, reach out to us. Let us know what you guys went through. If you have any cool stories or anything you want to share, we want to hear it. So reach out. I hope so. The crazier, the better. Even if you've got a bad dad joke, we want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it.
Oh, I do. I love dad jokes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I've got something about dad jokes, but you go first.
He's the king. You hate them all, so
I do. Yeah.
Great.
I thought you were. Never mind.
No, did y'all's wives make y'all watch any of the "This is what it's like to have a baby" videos?
No.
Watch, no. Read a lot of baby books and what to expect when you're having twins. We did do a lot of reading because we're freaking out. So holy shit, we got 2 kids.
Yeah.
We're going from 2 to 4. And then here's the real kicker for you guys. So twins run heavy on my wife's side. Twins run heavy on my side.
Okay.
And now we've got twins. So
are you saying there's a chance of you? If you have it in, could you have?
We have a higher chance of having twins or triplets than we do of having one for our next baby.
I hope you do. Didn't Octomom have 8 and then 2 or something?
First of all, I'm not I'm not Octomom, but if we have triplets, I've got my hockey team. I'm set. Let's go.
Yeah, 5v5.
Yeah. Bring yours. Let's go. We've got a full team. Line changes and everything.
I love it.
Let's go.
Well, no, I'll bring up the videos because I feel like I wish y'all had watched them. Because there was one in particular. I want to say it was somebody famous from the early 90s. I want to say it was Ricky Lake, and we followed her pregnancy through the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And she was
she had a kid.
I think that's who it was. But yeah, she was very open about the whole thing. But me being just a single dude in my 20s, didn't have any kids around ever, and the next lady that I knew as a child on TV is now so this is everything about everything. Everybody into that particular video, she's having a baby. She almost had the baby in the cab on the way to the hospital, but then ended up, I could be exaggerating, but I think she had a baby in the elevator on the way up to her floor or something.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Just thinking about different people's stories. Crap like that.
We didn't have, so first child, yes, we got books, we read them, we were doing that. But for each of them, we did natural births.
Oh, wow.
And the first 2 were born, it's kind of cool, they're born in the exact same room, which is really neat, 2 years apart, born in the exact same room.
Oh.
But we had a midwife and a doula. And for those who don't know, a doula is sort of a birthing coach. But, they are there to help mom and amazingly help me in some way. So if I was tired or something, she'd go take a nap, I've got this, and because we need you charged up because your life is about to change.
Yeah, we're going to take
forever, right?
Yeah. That is one thing. They do not prep you for after the hospital. You're thrown to the wolves, and man, do you learn. And that's the thing too, is we were really afraid, but I would recommend don't be like, you're gonna figure it out. Everything is a phase. It'll all pass. It's gonna be fine. For anybody who's about to be a new parent and they're stressing,
sure,
like it'll be fine. There's a lot of people. You're gonna be great.
I couldn't even tell you the name of any of the books that I read. I mean,
there's no way.
I can see the covers.
Yeah, they all had babies and moms.
I didn't glean anything from it that was impressionable enough that I can remember today. You know?
No.
We didn't read it because I was still trying to get through the X-Men. I was getting.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else better to read, right? Well, except Turtles, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a good segue. So the second one I want to go through, we're talking about books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you guys, so this will be our second part, is coming up with names.
Mm-hmm.
So when we found out we were going to be parents, we were like, oh, cool, we get to come up with names. And we didn't know we were having twins at the time, so we started like, okay, we'll come up with one name. And I don't know about you guys, but for my wife and I, we could never, even before we had the twins, before we knew we were having boys, we could not figure out female names at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was the hardest thing. We went through the baby name book of 1,000 bajillion million names. That's not the right order of numbers, but we went through that. We went online. We went through family history, and the boys' names, it was really weird. It just kind of like, okay, here's some boy names. Bam, 10 already right off the bat. We got that 10. We narrowed it down. We're like, well, here's 4. We knew we wanted to name it after some people in our lives who left us way too young, and that is, their middle names are now named after them, so they're always with us. But we just couldn't do female names. So for you guys, how did you come up with your names? Did you struggle? Was it easy? Like, what was your journey to come up with the names for yours?
I went first last time, so I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one.
Always the middle. You got to stop being the sandwich man.
I'm the middle of 4 kids.
You're
No sense.
You're lead next time.
No, I mean, ultimately we found a name in a book, but the name was linked to things that we loved as it was, but I don't know. I enjoyed the, look a little bit this day, and then through the day I'll send a text to her, hey, I met somebody with this crazy name, what do you think of that? And on a name that I fell in love with for sure. I mean, everybody, it's funny because all younger kids that meet her will kind of, what's that? That's weird, I've never heard of them. Which actually, that's cute. My daughter's class, every single kid in that class has an awesome, unique name, like an amazingly cool name.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Kevin's, there's no John, there's no Justin, there's none of that crap that we grew up with. Everybody's got something that came down from Olympus, sorry.
So we'll get back to this, but I actually know exactly why. There was a study done, it's a really fascinating study, where people who are not rich tend to name their kids the same names that, rich people name. Mm-hmm. So I can't even think of any right now, but say somebody rich named their kid Blaze or something like that, right?
Yeah.
American Gladiators, nice.
So it would be spelled like BLAZE. Well, the non-rich people would do the same thing, but they might spell it BLAAZ. So it's sort of them trying to be part of that
French
lifestyle, so to speak, or but they don't want to directly copy it, for obvious reasons. So I can't remember the name of the study, but that's ultimately the.
I've heard that. I've heard like the rich people alter course after hearing that the peasants are starting to name their kids these things, right?
Well, except for Elon Musk, whose kid's name is
that's
a
insane thing. Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of worried about going over the names conversation because in my head it's so easy to make fun of names, but there's a whole generation of people that just took Kevin and swapped out K with J and John with I don't know, but
B with Bond.
Yeah,
it's John Bond. I mean, I'm not going to say who the last name is, but I'm pretty sure it's famous name.
Joey.
Yeah, is it?
But so I don't want to insult anybody. What I'm saying, but yeah, there's 4 hunters that I work with right now. So,
dude, there are a lot of in Marks. There's 12.
Yes.
I don't even know anymore.
There were 6 Justins in every class that I was in high school.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Our parents were creative as well.
I think the baby book of names when we were born 40 years ago was 10 pages.
Wait, what was?
The baby book of names back then was maybe 10 pages long. It wasn't 10, it was 8.
But Thunder?
No, that would have been a car. passing by.
Yeah, it was like a trash truck or something.
Yeah.
Play that back later. That sounded insane.
True. Hey, at that point, what do you guys think that was? If you heard it, if not, make it up, because the more you make it up,
Oh,
the
it was
better.
my car. It's been run into by another car.
He's lying.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it was. I mean, nobody would want to hit that, but it might actually increase the value for it a little bit. So anyway, yeah, what did you guys, anybody listening, how did you come up with your names? Reach out to us, let us know.
So mine, I've got 3. The oldest is named after a famous actor who my wife and I, that was like one of our first dates. We watched a movie with this actor in it.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, right? Yeah. Anyway, and our second one is named after a character in a TV show that we like.
I knew that.
So the first one we came up with, boys and girls names. The middle name came for him just like when we went to go register at Babies R Us. We've been tossing the names back and forth, and finally I was like, okay, well, it's asking for a middle name. How about this? And she's like, okay. And so boom. But it is a family name. The middle child, again named after a character in a TV show that we watched. However, he's a boy, and the name is a unisex name. I could only come up with boys' names for our second child because, again, I decided that we were going to have a boy. And so I didn't even bother coming up with girls' names.
Yeah.
And she came up with this name that is perfectly fitting for a girl. And I was like, oh my God, I love that so much. I want to use that name even if we have a boy.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that's why he is named that.
Oh, no. Oh, hold on, sorry. Good.
Sorry. And then our last one, our baby, that is a family name on my wife's side that she wanted to honor for them. And so we went with that.
My brain skipped ahead when you were talking about the second one, and I thought, well, that would be a really bizarre boy's name. I thought you were talking about your daughter.
Oh.
Even if we have a boy, I mean, okay. All right, Martha.
Somewhat related is her middle name. It's from an overall theme of one of my favorite books, as well as the name of another character of a TV show that we watched. So we are completely unoriginal. We just take everything from the media that we consume.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but they're good names.
Ours are named after, our oldest, the first name was more religious because my wife is Catholic, so we kind of went that route. The middle names are named after people that are really important to us who we wish were still here that aren't. And then our youngest is actually named after somebody else in my family as well. So, we went with the family names that really meant something to us. So in a way, it was like they're still part of our family for the people who aren't with us. And that's basically how we came up with the names. But man, if we ever get pregnant again and we have a girl, we are in some trouble with our past. Like, how do we?
The TV guy worked for John.
That's true. The TV guide might be the way to go.
We did put a lot of thought to our name.
We'll just go straight out with Buffy or something. Just something way out there.
I like it. That's good.
Yeah,
Buffy Daughtry. It works. It's nice.
Daughtry.
Wait, how do you pronounce your last name?
We're not going to
Well,
say
maybe
that
we
here.
should say it on the show.
Yeah. Daughtry's close. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, girls' names, that's why I was kind of curious and I wanted to talk to you guys because, you've got 2 girls combined. We struggled. So I was just curious if you guys struggled or not.
Just
So
let us know.
it's interesting.
I'll send you a list of good ones because I am not having any more kids. I've actually got an appointment set up for next week for a consultation.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah, getting sterilized, baby. So you can have all the names that I didn't get to use.
Okay. So your wife heard spay and neuter your pets and here you go.
Yeah.
All right. Price is right. All right. That's fantastic. And what about, so I know we touched on it a little bit last week. Do you think that after all these talks that you're going to change your mind and maybe want a
Trying to
second?
be the running thing to this whole thing is
Yeah, at least for last week. At least last week and this week. But I know we barely touched on it. So he's for sure done.
I'm gonna piggyback on.
We're up in the, there you go. We're up in the air because we have to plan. We can't plan on a family of 2 to 3. We have to plan on from 2 to 4 to 5.
Oh my
or
God,
5.
yeah, seriously.
So we're up in the air. I know you said you guys were done, but do you think that'll ever change, or are you set in stone? Like, no,
I don't think anything in life is set in stone. I think for me,
What about rocks?
I'm happy. Yeah, those
Okay,
guys.
come on.
Oh yeah, what was you?
Oh wait, hang on. Before we get to that, we mentioned. No. Yeah, I also wanted to delay the dad jokes.
Nice.
But yeah, because I don't want to hear. But you mentioned last show about the clothing size of 24 months and 2 teeth.
Yes.
Well, my wife looked at me with those eyes that used to mean "come on over, guy," and she goes, "I know what that means." And I was like, "Oh, do you?" And she's like, "Yes, 24 months is, and the 2 teeth. They are the same thing as far as like age, but 2T is built for more kids who like might not have diapers anymore, whereas 24 months they're the pants and everything is still kind of full, so they're shaped differently versus for like toddlers who are up walking around potty trained versus those who are not.
I'm not saying you got it wrong, but that sounds backwards. So if I'm a baby that's too dumb, sorry, I don't know, but if I'm too dumb to be out of a diaper at 2 years old, I still wear diapers. I'm already.
Right, hold on a minute, because our kids are still not potty trained.
Oh,
so.
Wow.
How about you calm down?
Yeah.
They are learning though. Like it's
trying to be funny and I feel like an asshole.
Yeah, you are. You should. No, we are getting to that point. They're actually. It's really funny. After bath time, our youngest, he's now at the point where he won't get out of the bathtub until he goes TT. That's what he calls it.
Oh, that's interesting.
And he'll stand there. He's like, "No, TT, I can't get out." I'm like, "Okay." So he's like standing there and he's looking down. He's trying to tee, and then he'll try to do the squat, and you hear him go, and then he stands up. And then when he does it, he's got the happiest look on his face. And then he's like, "Okay, let's go." And then he turns and faces me. He's still just full stream. And it's like, "All right, let's finish, and then I'll pick you up."
Well, now you know when to switch them over to 2T.
Yeah. And that's we're looking at it. We've got the little. I don't know if you guys go into our guest bathroom, you'll see it, but we do have the little Coco Melon toilet for the boys. They love sitting on it and going poo poo. And it's like, okay, well, take your diaper off.
Use the Cheerio method.
What is the Cheerio method?
Yeah, this helped us out a lot.
You hold a Cheerio.
Is that like training for a dog? Like,
no, it's training. It's potty training. Now, granted, I'm not potty training our youngest yet because she's too young. But for the boys, we throw a Cheerio into the toilet and they have to aim at it.
Oh, it was half right.
And that's how they learn to control where it goes.
It's a game.
That is fantastic.
So yeah, hit us up with your potty training tips. But that one was a lifesaver for me.
Because I'm
at the bar with an onion ring.
And you still miss. Why are these so wet? Thinking like, okay, I'm going to teach them how to potty train. The only thing I can think of is Ghostbusters and telling them don't cross the street. But I know they're going to try, so it's, that different story. But yeah, I did not know about the Cheerio method. That's actually pretty, that's good to know.
Give it a whirl. Let us know if it works.
Yeah, and anybody else has an idea too, let us know, because we're getting to that point where they really need to, because diapers are expensive.
Oh, they're crazy.
Like, here's how big of a nerd I am. We priced it out per diaper. So we compared like big brand stores, off-brand stores, and we did like all kinds of stuff. And it came down like they're almost $2 to $3 per diaper.
I believe it.
And when you got twins and they're burning through them, holy crap!
Have you tried the cloth diapers?
No, because that's.
I had cloth diapers for both boys. By the third, we're just like, whatever. We're not keeping up with this. It's too much work.
Yeah, we.
For a couple of months, it's that delivery thing, putting that big giant bag of nasty out on the curb for them to pick out. It's the grossest.
Oh yeah, I totally get it. But I did it because we were trying to be environmentally conscious. So it wasn't a big deal. But man, we were just burnt out. We're like, listen, this is 10 years from when we had our first one. We're not doing this.
It was kind of cost effective though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely had
It's
to
like a
be.
monthly service. We come pick it up, clean them up, and drop you off some new ones.
What monthly service are you talking about?
Diapers, the cloth
Diaper service. They'll come and drop off fresh cloth diapers for you and take all the dirty ones, wash them, and then refill them.
I thought they just throw them into a volcano because that's what should have been done.
Dude, seriously, because I know what's coming out of my kids. I know what we feed them, and what they let out is not what goes in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I did not know about the service. Mm-hmm. We always thought we had to wash them ourselves, and we were like, nope.
Oh yeah, no, it's
some of them we do. With our first, we did the service. With our second, we washed them ourselves, and it's not pleasant either.
Interesting.
I'm going to ask you about that process later because I don't know where you need to head.
You know what? Next show. Come back next week, hear about diapers. For now, we'll say thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate you guys coming in, listening to us ramble on. We actually stayed on topic. I'm impressed.
Yes, we did.
I don't think it'll ever happen again, or if it does, it's rare. But again, check us out on Patreon, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, wherever, anywhere. Follow us if you support us. We'll do better shows, longer shows probably, and give you guys some giveaways or something. I don't know. We've got big plans, but can't do it without you guys. So please go give us a listen, give us a like, give us a follow, anything you want. Reach out to us. We're here for you. And we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Bye.